Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to my next anime review of Blue Exorcist, aka On the No Exorcist. Now, I should mention that I have seen this one before, as in the anime itself. Back in 2013, around I think it was April or May. No, I think it was April now that I think about it. I actually did see it beforehand from a recommendation from my friend at the time. And I'll be honest, I liked it enough, but there were things that bothered me. And recently I rewatched it again. So what do I think? Well, let's move on from that and we'll come back to that later. First up, the story. Rin Okumura is being raised in an exorcist area with his father figure Shiro. Yeah, not that Shiro. And his twin brother Yukio. Rin is a handful, to say the least. He's incredibly violent and does seem to at times have a hard time keeping jobs and friends. And he's a junior high dropout. Go figure. So he's raised in this, and then it's discovered that he and his brother are the sons of Satan. Yeah! It's discovered that after he encounters a demon for himself. Now this part of the premise I love. I love the fact that it's discovered that he doesn't discover it right away. We have an entire episode with him seeing his normal life and then seeing it turned right upside down. I love that. And I love that he doesn't get it. I also have to admit that I really, really love the beginning of the story. It hooks you in for the very first episode to a certain point. Honestly, the first two episodes alone made me want to continue watching this anime. Now, the sad part with the story comes into common shonen problems. Fillers and making up an ending. Now, making up an ending unique for the anime is fine. Trigun and Fullmetal Alchemist both did this. The problems with the ending I'll get into later, but let's just say the ending is one of my low points with the series. But again, we'll get to that. Next up, the characters. Okay, let me clarify something. I do not with Izumo first because, well, I mentioned her in my most hated anime characters list. After rewatching this series, I will no longer consider her one of my most hated characters. Is she annoying? Yes. Is she a bitch? Yes. Does she got good reason for it? We're only given one hint in the anime, a few more. Her story has been recently explained in the manga. But yes, we do have a good reason for it. Now, unfortunately, she's still my least favorite character in the show. I just don't hate her as much as I did before. Now, I'm going to talk about the three characters in particular besides her. First up, Rin Okumura. I'll be very honest, I really like Rin Okumura. I think it's because of two things. One, to most people, even people who care about him, except for one or two, he's considered a pain in the ass. And let's face it, he really is a pain in the ass. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Rin but I admit there are times he's a bit of a pain in the ass. And that's how the characters see him, and they have to grow to trust him. I love that sort of thing, and I really do like it. Also, to give credit here, Bryce Papenbrook, this is honestly my favorite role he does. Even more than young Vash in Trigun. Next up, Yukio. Yukio is pretty kick-ass too. When he's not being a condescending ass. No offense to Yukio fans out there, but the guy can be kind of a douche. He's not the worst, mind you. No. We have Izumo and Snake Lady for that. But when he wants to be, he can get downright ass. However, he does have good intentions, and I do like the dynamic between the two brothers, which is something very similar to Full Metal Alchemist. And then we get to the final character I want to talk about, Mephistopheles. And my god, this, besides Rin, this is probably my favorite character. You have no idea if he's an ass, if he's a good guy, if he's a bad guy. Honest to God, this guy is awesome. And to be very honest, I love the fact that he's portrayed as an otaku. He is so much fun to watch. And I think he is far more interesting than almost any other character besides the brothers themselves. Seriously, I love Mephisto. Also, this is probably one of my favorite roles Sam Riegel does. Easily. The rest of the characters are rather hit or miss, I hate to say it. You'll get some like Shiro, who really I liked his character, but he did not have enough screen time. Or you'll have ones with like Shiemi, who could potentially be the love interest, though we're never actually given an answer to that. And the fact that I hate to say it, Shiemi is she can be kind of boring at times. So sadly, the rest of the characters are hit or miss. Next up, the animation. This is easily one of the high points of the series. Honestly, if Rin and Mephisto weren't, the animation is. The animation is gorgeous. And I'm going to give A1 Pictures this. They know how to animate. If SAO is any indication, this is another great animated one. Good job, A1 Pictures. Next up, the music. Honestly, this is one of the weaker points of the anime. Whereas I think it has great animation, and it has like one or two good tracks. The OST in this one is kind of lacking. But I've heard worse. But I will give the music this much. The openings and ending, the opening themes, both of them, especially the second, which is rare for me, I think rare for anime fans to say, are pretty kick-ass and make me motivated to watch them, even if the second opening has most of their episodes are complete and utter shit. Fun! Alright, so I've talked about those. What are my major problems with the series? I have two major problems. First up, the villains. First two episodes aside, the villains are either non-existent, boring in a Maimon's case, or way too little screen time and the threat level only goes to a little bit. I did not feel threatened by these villains. In my opinion, these are some of the worst anime villains I've ever seen. And honestly, I don't like that. I wish I could give them compliments, but in this case, I can't. I don't like the villains. Thank God most of them do not appear all that much. So what do I like? So what's my other major problem that ultimately destroys what could have been a great anime? The ending. Let me explain. The ending had a great setup, but the problem was its execution and the end result. Basically, without getting into spoilers, to me, the ending feels empty and hollow. Like, okay, you just gained a victory, wait, but they can come back again. Wait, let's go do this last character development. Okay, I'll actually admit that's actually pretty good. Oh, wait, let's have the adventure continues and not even finish a battle. Yeah! I don't like this ending. Okay, I admit this right now. I have seen worse endings. But it feels like it's a combination of... It feels like it's a half read the manga ending and half no ending. And I don't really like either of those endings for the most part, though there are exceptions. So this one feels like a very hollow and empty ending, and I did not feel satisfied with the last few episodes, especially when it decided to do that. And those are both my major gripes with the series. Why have I said before? I think in some of my videos I've mentioned before that I've not liked Blue Exorcist, and I've been rather harsh on it. And I'll explain why right now. Why I've been so, at times, harsh with Blue Exorcist. Because I think it could have been as good as Full Metal Alchemist. I'm dead serious when I say that. When I first watched it, the first 2 episodes alone were as good as the first few episodes of Full Metal Alchemist, in my opinion. The trouble is the anime squanders it. It came for me, it could have been so much more than what it is. But it wasn't, and I wanted it to be so much more. I admit that after watching it again, though, I did enjoy it. Once I got past that, though, I watched it again, and you know what? I now enjoy it for what it is. Is it perfect? No. Is it good for drama? Surprisingly, yes. The comedy and drama is fairly good in this series, and at times believable because you get to actually see the panic and the sadness. And you also get to see the comedic moments. I love this series for that aspect. The comedy is one of the stronger points, and so is the drama, especially in the first few episodes. Seriously, I really do like this series. I just wish it could have been so much more. I give Blue Exorcist an 8 out of 10. While I was a little disappointed with it, this rewatch that I did for it really helped boost my opinion of it again and give it an honest to God thinking. I think it's great, but I wish it could have been so much more. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1, and I'll see you next time.